Welcome to How IT Gets Done. My name is Dang Long. Today, I have Vaughn from Equinix with me, and we'll be talking about the emergence of multi-cloud. But first, Vaughn, can you give us a little background about Equinix?
Yeah, thanks, Dang. Equinix is a digital infrastructure platform that enables our customers and partners to deploy that infrastructure and connect privately with their ecosystem partners.
Thank you for the introduction. At Hitachi, we're seeing more and more companies moving into multi-cloud. Why are some of the reasons for this, you think?
Yeah, a lot of the conversations we have are multi-cloud oriented as well. I think there's several reasons for that. So customers sometimes are thinking about putting application-specific workloads in the clouds that specialized in those kind of capabilities.
Hmm.
So for example, you might see an analytics workload, being deployed in GCP, large, data sets being deployed in Amazon, for example.
At Office 365 in Azure?
Yeah, for sure. I think what we also see is a lot of mergers and acquisitions these days. So all of a sudden, cloud environments sometimes come along or tag along with that, which can create multi-cloud environments as well.
Hmm.
Then I think, from a security perspective, risk mitigation point of view, what we see is data being deployed in multiple locations, or in this case, that might be multiple clouds. So I think there's a lot of good reasons why, multi-cloud architectures are becoming more prevalent.
Yeah, certainly. Regardless where the customer go from multi-cloud because it's intentional or because it's accidental, I can see how having data across different hyperscaler creates potential challenges. Can you talk a little bit about those issues?
Yeah, we see a lot of challenges as well, which is probably no surprise. One good example of that is, as you just said, kind of the lack of data mobility. So, clouds who like to keep the data sitting within them, or their workload sitting within them, make it, maybe cost prohibitive or costly to get data out or to move data, in between or amongst the cloud environments.
Yep.
We also see kind of what I would call data management complexity. So if you have data sitting in these different cloud environments, more often than not, the cloud providers have their own tool sets by which you would use to manage that data.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, maybe you have 2, 3, 4 tools to manage, a single set of data. And then, really data duplication. So if you are trying to replicate your data or store your data across these multiple environments, you need to be able to ensure that that data, is consistent across all the different environments.
Yeah, you're right. All those challenges, like you mentioned, locked in, duplicated data, data mobility, are complex. But nonetheless, I think we see customers are going towards multi-cloud, and it's not a matter of if, but when. Together with Equinix, Hitachi has developed a solution called Hitachi Cloud Connect for Equinix. And can you give us a little background about how this solution helps customers solve these issues?
So, the Hitachi Cloud Connect at Equinix solution really overcomes some of those challenges that we just discussed by locating your data within this environment here that we've jointly developed. The value proposition of that, as I see it, is really, number one, it reduces cost. Cost of getting the data out of the cloud and moving the data amongst and in between the clouds. I think the other value is really around the idea of proximity or cloud adjacency. If you're storing your data here, you're storing it in close proximity to all these different environments, with all of our cloud on-ramps probably within 1 or 2 milliseconds. And that really enables high performance, low latency types of use cases. I think the third value prop is really around security. So as data sort of flows between these different environments, that's usually over private connectivity and not over the internet, which has inherent security, value.
Excellent benefits. I imagine these benefits are not available at just one Equinix site. I imagine you have sites all over the world, right?
Yeah, so if you think about certain use cases, maybe like disaster recovery or backup, and you want to do that in a separate site or a separate geographic location, that the value of the Equinix platform, again, becomes the idea of having all these cloud ramps, so all the proximity all around the world in all of these 70+ markets.
Excellent. There's quite a few sites on here. If I was a Hitachi customer, I could consider, deploying a site as Los Angeles and then use Hitachi block-based replication to go to another site, let's say Boston, and this gives you capabilities for disaster recovery, and we have the flexibility to offer things like zero RPO with TrueCopy, or you want it to go further, you can use HUR, which is Universal Replicator. So there's a lot of options there for customers who are looking to perform disaster recovery with Hitachi storage with Equinix colos. Another use case you mentioned is backup. Since we're already located in Equinix Colo, it has these connections to the major hyperscaler. We could easily back up our data to like GCP, AWS, or Azure. So I'd like to end this conversation with the benefits that you briefly mentioned earlier. One, cost. By having the data sitting near cloud, we bypass the egress cost if we were to move data from one cloud to another. At the same time, it gives us high data mobility between clouds. Performance is another good benefit because the fact that the data is close to the hyperscaler. You mentioned low latency, 1 or 2 milliseconds for most Equinix colos. And then security is driven by the fact that your network is a private network. Our data doesn't go across the internet. And also because the data sits off the cloud in the data center, the customer has complete control of that data.
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for your time today, Vaughn.
Thank you.
And for those viewers who are interested in finding out more about Hitachi Cloud Connect for Equinix, please scan the QR code on your screen or look at the URL in the description.